have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
But in the kingdom, we're going to have that power like the angels, but we're going to be what you call extraterrestrial. In other words, we're not going to be regular terrestrial like we are right now. Because what happened is, in the ancient world, we had that power. We had that power when we were on a level like gods. But what happened is, the Most took that power from us. Over the generations and over the years, the Lord took that power from us. But we're going to get that back. We're going to get that power back coming into the kingdom.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
When we think about the kingdom, most brothers think of like the small, minute terms. But the vastness of the kingdom, the greatness of the kingdom, dealing with the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and the information alone that we're going to receive when we get to the kingdom. That's on a whole nother level. Never mind the riches and the lands and the women and the children, and to be in your chariot, sipping some yayan, on your chalice, your gold chalice with all them rubies and emeralds and sapphires and the different precious stones, going to places.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
No one, no matter how vivid a brother's imagination is, there's nothing in comparison to what's coming. You can't even imagine. You can't even paint it a picture or write into words or give an explanation that even comes close to the majesty that's coming. We are destined for greatness in the new righteous kingdom.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
The brother with the most vivid imagination out there can't imagine what the kingdom of heaven has in store, what it's going to be like. What we're basing the kingdom of heaven as far as riches and having a good time and things of that nature is just based off of our experiences in this world and what we think having a good time is and living the life is. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. There are pleasures forevermore at thy right hand. So the kingdom that's coming is going to be set up and established in righteousness. The Israelites are going to be changed. Thy people shall be all righteous. Not one Israelite is going to be lost, because the promise that the Most High made to Abraham was to all that seed. And the seed of the promise went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. Every seed that came out of Jacob is a part of the ones that are going to receive the benefits that the Most High promised to blessed Abraham.
The transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down. According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into, all right, this morning, all right, this edition of Morning News and Prophecy, just go, to the attack on food and more pressure on Babylon, so we're going to start off, with what's happened domestically inside of America, and then we're going to go abroad, because all these things are connected, the prophecies, all right, are speaking, you have all these things happening at one time, and it's getting ready to overwhelm the earth. Okay, the scriptures say sorrows shall be on every side. Okay, if a brother want to post that, second Ezra, I think 16 and 39. Okay, we're in the time where sorrows are getting ready to come, all right, on every side. So I want to start off with a few precepts, and let me see. So let's start off with a few precepts, and then got quite a few videos. So I want to run through them if I can. Baratazar, but yeah, my brother can post that. I believe it's second Ezra 16 and 39. But let's start off here in the book of Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8. Okay, because the Lord raised up the prophets, all right, in these latter days with a message. Okay, and we know, all right, according to the scriptures, that we're coming into a time like never before. Okay, so when you go into all right, the prophets, Jeremiah 28 and 8, he said, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries. And that's what we're doing, because we're prophesying against all these nations, man. Okay, now America and these small has this emphasis on those two. Okay, and they're going to get the worst of the judgment. Okay, in this coming war, all right, in the return of Yahweh Shai, these small hats, okay, in America, all right, Babylon the Great, they're going to get the worst of the judgment, okay, but all these nations will be judged, okay, all these nations will be stripped of power, their militaries, okay, wealth, okay, they're going to be stripped to nothing, all right, the survivors of this war and this judgment of all these nations are going into captivity. Okay, every last one of them, every nation outside of the elect of Israel is going into captivity. Okay, 2/3 are going to be destroyed of our people. All right, they're going to come back. They're going to be born. All right, eventually in the kingdom. Okay, in a righteous rulership with these heathens in captivity, man. So if we've been raised up, we prophesy against, all right, many countries. You see? And even though we speak, you think that, we have, a bias, towards these different nations. No, we just need these different nations to play their role in prophecy. Okay, we need Iran to, according to prophecy, and it's all because the Lord has it set up their way. Okay, so we're just expounding, okay, on prophecy concerning these nations, man. Okay, Iran, being that great war that will come with great power, Russia being the chief prince, okay, the nation that these other nations will rally around to go against the whore against the West, okay, the different kings of the East, the different nations, okay, that stick out, China, Turkey, Ezekiel 38. So we go into these other nations based on their role in prophecy, man, okay, because none of them have a victory in this war. You see, they're going to win battles, all right, they're going to take down Babylon, okay, they're going to begin the dismantling of Babylon, but Yahweh Shai is going to come, okay, with the grand finale, okay, of judgment and righteousness, man, against all these nations. It says, and against great kingdoms, okay, these superpowers, okay, of the earth, man, beginning with America, Babylon, of war and of evil and of pestilence, man, okay, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And we're in this time. We're in the time of war. We're in the time of evil, bad times. Okay, we're in the time of famines. We're in the time of pestilence, civil unrest. Okay, extreme poverty, man, cannibalism. We in these evil times. We're here. Okay, and for 2/3 of our people that continue to, refuse the message. All right, reject the message. They're gonna get caught up in this judgment, man. That's why you go here to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7. Okay, starting at verse 1. All right, it's Ezekiel chapter 7. And verse 1 says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus said the Lord unto the land of Israel, and the end is come upon the four corners of the land. Okay, and this is speaking to the people in this time frame. Okay, you Israelites that continue to trust in the devil, trust in the system. Okay, your mind, you're still wandering after the beast. Okay, you still, look at this society and you're optimistic about, okay, things getting better in this society. Okay, your mind is, enchanted by this beast, man. It's finna be bad. It's finna be bad for you Israelites that trust in Egypt, man. Okay, because this place is going to fail. All right, this place is set to fall. It says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations, man. Okay, see, now we're in a time where the Most High finna start picking up these tabs. He finna make people pick up these tabs, man. Okay, all this wickedness and abomination and rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Well, guess what? Now you're gonna have to pick up this tab, man. Okay, and it's gonna be through judgment. You see, and Lord willing, we're covered by the blood of Yahweh Shah, the hopeful elect, gonna be covered, man. The Lord will part of that number. Well, it's a guarantee that the elect will be covered by the blood to where we're part, man. Our barakas are, man. Okay, but we finna see judgment go forth. It's finna get horrific, and we have to remember that this is judgment, man. We can't be emotional in these times as the Lord getting ready to open up. No, this judgment is finna go forth, man. Okay, it says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. Okay, and my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I'm the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man. The Lord finna make statements with judgment, man. Okay, and we're constantly telling you Israelites, man, repent. Through the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. Okay, and the Lord's going to bring a terror to the earth, man, and we see the build up to that. For these elites, the Lord gonna put the spirit. The Lord has the spirit on the elites to crash this thing. And see, Esau, we can tell he's being rushed just by how tacky he is, man. He's being rushed. Okay, so this devil, he got this in the making, man. He got a lot of things in the making, man. Okay, to bring about these evil times, this evil day. Okay, he said, "Thus said the Lord, power." All right, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. Evil and only evil. Okay, so it's going to get worse, and then it's going to just keep getting worse. It's going to get bad before it gets worse, man. That's the atmosphere, man. And the way these things are escalating, the way prophecy is happening, the way prophecy is trending right now, and then this is going into the Passover, man. This is a heavy time. All right. And these things have so much momentum. I don't see these devils being able to pull back. See, so many times they've started something and pulled back, but the Lord was causing it to happen to put people asleep, because you can tell people are still not taking it serious what's happening in real time. Okay. It's a lot that can happen real quick with it. Like the atmosphere right now, man, things can make a big jump. Okay, into a whole nother phase, man. Okay, it's concerning prophecy, man. The stage is set for things to take a big jump, man. It said, "Thus said the Lord, power and evil, and only evil is come." All right, it says, "An end is come, the end is come, it watcheth for thee, behold, it is come." So the end is already set. So every day that we're coming, every day is a step closer to this already appointed time of the end of this man's kingdom. Okay, so it's going to become more chaotic, it's going to become more violent, it's going to be more tribulation, distress, famine, poverty. These things are going to increase, man. Okay, so let's get this first video, because I think a brother got that. Yep, brother got that for me. Cue this video up and then we'll get that. So I know brother's been tapped into this. I think El Apostle Ariamla was the first one, to begin to report on this with these wildfires in Nebraska, man. Okay, and this is nothing but the attack on food, and you best believe that this devil, there's no doubt, all right, that this devil has his hands in the mix. Okay, more than likely those direct energy weapons were involved. Okay, in burning all this land in Nebraska, man. Okay, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 39. It says, "Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth," man. And see things, and the Lord is taking the slack out of prophecy, man. There was a time when there was some slackness. There was some slackness in between, certain events, man. But now, hey, these things are working like a chain reaction, man. This devil, he jumped off this war with Iran, and it kicked off a chain reaction, man. Okay, that hasn't stopped since. It says, "Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side," man. Bad news on every side, man. Ain't nothing looking good. The job market, the economy, okay, the war, all right, civil unrest. You see? Ain't nothing looking good, man. All right? And it's all the will of Yahweh Shem Shai, as he's prepping the world for judgment, man. Okay, so let's play this real quick. Oh, dang. Hold on. Hold on. Yes, like I had accidentally X'd out. Got so many tabs open. But let's open it back up. So lock it. Give me a second. Oh, oh. There we go.
We're excited this weekend to introduce you to the latest team member here at Farm Journal, Haley Bickelhop. You will be seeing her quite a bit on the show. But Haley, to kick things off, you have been following just a heartbreaking story in Nebraska. We talked about it in news, but the wildfires are burning at last count 800,000 acres. What did you find out this week?
Well, I'm just one of the members of our team that have spoke with a number of cattlemen in this area that have been impacted. I spoke with Glenna Shearfay. Her husband helps manage Rush Creek Ranch, which is north of Lisco, Nebraska. Now, she says that this photo that you see here on your screen was taken Thursday, March 12th at 8:30 at night. And it was about 14 miles north of their facilities, and it was as close as she could get to the flames. Shearfay says that as far as she knows, all of their horses, cattle, and buildings are fine, but their land was hit hard. Now, their camp is on about 12,000 acres, and about 300 can only hold cattle right now. Ag Day's Clinton Griffith spoke with another cattleman, Audra Allen from Whitewater Ranch in Arthur County. Allen says that these fires will have a significant impact on the rural economy and the cattle markets.
We fight fires every year. It's part of living in the grasslands and the prairie. We fight fire all the time, but never have we seen anything of this magnitude. We had an exceptionally wet year this past summer, and so the amount of fuel that's in the pasture has just been unreal.
If people want to help, what do you need?
The biggest thing we need is hay. Guys got to feed their cows. Fence posts, fence. I mean, I think we replaced fence last year, and I think we're up to, $22,000 an acre, $22,000 a square mile to be able to replace that fence. And so the hedge posts that are needed, the wire, just the hay and the forages to be able to feed these cows are the biggest need that I can see right now.
The Nebraska football program is helping out with that need. All the ticket proceeds from their spring game will be donated to wildfire relief efforts. Now, if you would like to help those impacted, there are a list of ways that you can help out. We have them all listed on.
So, yeah, and then she said she never seen or dealt with anything like this before. They get fires, that they deal with, yearly. But this is something like she's never seen because, these devils, all right, use those direct energy weapons, man. And it's an attack on food because you destroy the land, you can't feed the cattle, okay? And then look at the timing they're doing these things, man, okay? And these things, all this news that we're hearing, we're really going to start to feel the effects of it on down the line, And I got a video, he kind of goes into that as well. Let's go here. All right, and if a brother can post that in Ezekiel chapter 4, I believe it's verses 16 and 18. 16 and 17. I think. Let's go. So Ezekiel chapter 4, verses I believe 16 and 17. Yeah, 16 and 17. Ezekiel 4, 16 and 17. And let's get that in Isaiah 19 and 5. Yeah, let's play this, because we keep hearing all this news and see, this has been an attack on the food supply chain for a long time, ever since the demic. The farmers have been catching hell since the demic. The government has been in all-out war, all right, with farmers, okay? And that's mainly in these EU nations and over here in America, man, okay? And it's gonna come to a point where these things are going to hit home. But once that food supply chain is broken, it's going to be broken, man, okay? The energy crisis, which transport this food, from farm, okay, to grocery store, to processor. These things are going to be disrupted and they're being sabotaged, man, because these devils want distress, okay? These devils want distress and chaos, All right, so they can present a solution. So let's go here. Let's play a little bit of this. Now this is dealing with the Strait of Hormuz, okay, and the effect that it's going to have. All right, dealing with farmers. Okay, so these devils, all right, they attacking, physical land. Okay, and then they're intentionally disrupting, all right, these supply lines. Okay, so let's play this.
Iran just stranded 1 million tons of fertilizer, and most people have no idea what this means for their wallets. The next hit is coming, and you'll feel it more than rising gas prices. I'm about to break down exactly what is happening and what you can do about it before it's too late. The grocery prices you are seeing right now are a lie, not because someone is cheating you, but because what you pay today reflects crops planted 6 months ago when fertilizer was still flowing. That is not the case anymore. And you have about 30 days before your grocery bill starts showing you the truth. On March 10th, 2026, Iran formally closed the Strait of Hormuz to vessels associated with the United States and Israel. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow stretch of water between Iran and Oman. 1/5 of the world's oil moves through it every day. You heard about the gas price, $3.84 a gallon and climbing. That part made the news. What did not make the news is the fertilizer. 50% of the world's urea and sulfur exports move through that same strait. Not some of it, half of it. Urea and sulfur are not obscure chemicals. They are the primary ingredients in the fertilizer that grows the food. Here is how the chain works. Natural gas gets processed into ammonia. Ammonia becomes urea. Urea goes into the ground before planting season. Without it, farmers plant less. Some plant nothing at all. Natural gas prices are up 34% since the Iran war started on February 28th. The Gulf region, which is now effectively closed, is one of the world's largest fertilizer export corridors. The supply is stranded. And here is the timing problem that most people are completely missing. The United States spring planting season runs April through June. Farmers do not order fertilizer in April. They order it now. They order it in March. The window to get fertilizer in the ground before planting season starts is open right now, and it is closing fast. A farmer in Decatur, Illinois, named Rob Schaffer, told AgWeb on March 14th that he has been waiting 3 weeks for a urea delivery that was supposed to arrive in late February. His supplier told him 4 to 6 more weeks minimum. He has 400 acres ready to plant. He is not planting. And you can be very sure that he is not alone. The crops most affected are corn, soybeans, and wheat. These are not niche crops. Corn is in your cooking oil, your cereal, your chicken feed, your beef feed, your high fructose corn syrup. Soybeans are in your cooking oil, your tofu, your livestock feed. Wheat is your bread, your pasta, your flour. If fertilizer does not reach these crops in the next 30 days, the fall harvest comes in short. Prices spike in November and December and into 2027. This is not speculation. The mechanism is already running. In 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, fertilizer prices spiked 300% in 6 months. Grocery prices followed 4 to 6 months later. The Fertilizer Institute, the industry's own trade group, not a conspiracy website, confirmed the supply chain damage at the time. We are watching the same sequence start again, except this time the Strait of Hormuz is closed on top of the existing pressure. The Fertilizer Institute has confirmed that 50% of global urea and sulfur exports move through the strait. Diesel prices have hit $5.04 per gallon, suffering watts the highest since 2022. Brent crude is trading near $109 per barrel. Every one of those numbers feeds into what a bag of fertilizer costs and whether it arrives at all. By June, the USDA will start revising yield estimates downward. By August, you will start seeing it at the store. Not everywhere at once. Cooking oil first, then flour, then cereal and canned goods, then meat a few months after that, when the feed cost increases work through the livestock cycle. The 30 days that matter most for your grocery bill are not the 30 days after prices spike. They are right now, the 30 days before anyone is talking about it. Here's what smart people are doing this week. First, buy shelf-stable groceries now at...
So yeah, it's going to be a ripple effect. Okay. So what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz? All right, that's affecting the food supply. Okay, over here in America, you see what's happening. You know, with the land, all the 800,000 acres. All right, that's crazy. 800,000 acres of land. Okay, and Nebraska is a real big cattle farming state. Okay, so you have all these things compounding on each other, which is going to bring about, distress, man. When all these things hit, okay, when the effects of all these things hit, okay, at the same time, man, it's going to be catastrophic, man. Okay, and we know as the scriptures say, we're coming into the worst time ever. Okay, so let's matter of fact, let's get that. Was it Matthew 24? Okay, 21 and 22. This is the brother warriors of Yahushua, 144, Ezekiel 4:16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, man. Okay, so all this excess of indulging of food here in America, okay, which we went into how America wastes 40% of its food. I think it was millions of tons of food that America wastes per year. 40%, 30 to 40%. That's crazy. Okay, so people are used to having more than enough. Okay, abundance. All right, but that abundance is going to go to self-rationing, man. Okay, and it's going to go from self-rationing to nothing. All right, no milk. You see, verse 17, it said that they may want bread and water and study one with another and consume away for their iniquity. Yeah, you're going to consume away. You're going to actually wither away because of famine. All right, you're going to actually consume away physically, okay, because of famine. As the scriptures speak about, the scriptures speak about that in Lamentations, I believe 4 and 9. Okay. Yep. Let's go here. This Isaiah 19 and 5, it says, and the water shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. Yeah, man, these things are going to dry up, man. The food source is going to dry up. Okay, they're going to be intentionally manufactured and cut off. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 22. This is brother Yashima, tribe of Judah. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Okay, which are the grocery stores, man. All right, so they're beginning to sabotage the food from the source. Okay, they're beginning to sabotage the food from the source, the land. Okay, all right, and then the fertilizer that it takes, to grow the crops. Okay, so they're attacking the harvest, the land. Okay, so they're attacking the food supply chain at the source at the top. Okay, so let's go here. We got another one says, GMS in his likeness, Lamentation 4 and 9, it says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger, for these pine away, shrieking for want of fruits of the field. Yeah, so it would be better to die, through gun violence. Okay, than by famine, because that's a long, agonizing death, man. That's a painful, stretched out, agonizing death, man. Okay, so you have that happening, and then let's get this. Why this is happening? This is all happening at the same time. Okay, sorrows on every side. So let's go from here. This is from the brothers channel. All right, Arrows of Indignation. Okay, so let's go here dealing with these closures. Okay, and the brother can post Isaiah 19 and 15, Bob Pashah. Okay, so you have this happening, and it's all happening the same time.
Outback Steakhouse has announced that they're going to be closing up to 62 stores. Smoky Bones Barbecue has said that they're going to close 120 plus stores. Domino's Pizza said that they're closing 250 plus stores and they're filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Papa John's is closing over 300 locations. Popeye's Chicken is closing 136 locations and they are also filing for bankruptcy. Red Lobster is closing over 100 locations. Red Robin is closing 70 plus locations. Denny's is closing over 150 locations. Pizza Hut is closing over 250 locations. And Wendy's said that they're going to close a maximum of 600 locations. We're talking over 1,000 locations of fast food restaurants and food chains that are getting ready to close their doors. And you think this country is not in trouble?
Domino's Pizza is closing 250 plus locations and filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Wendy's is closing 300 to 600 locations in 2026. Popeye's Chicken is closing 136 plus locations and also filing bankruptcy, mostly in Florida and Georgia. Papa John's is closing over 300 locations in 2026. Denny's is closing over 150 locations in 2026. Red Lobster is closing over 100 locations in 2026. Red Robin is closing 70 plus locations in 2026. Pizza Hut is closing 250 locations in the US in 2026. Smoky Bones is closing 120 locations in 2026. It brings me absolutely no joy to bring you this information. However, it is the real facts of what is going on in the US economy in 2026. Please don't spend any money. Please plan your spending, do a budget. If you found this post informative, although sad, please like, comment, follow, and share. It is important that you keep up on the economy and economic news because as you see, it does affect you personally. These are thousands of restaurants that will be closing, which means these workers will be unemployed, laid off, and not spending money in the economy. It means all these thousands of restaurants will not be generating money in the US economy, which will overall affect the.
They crashing this thing out, man. Esau has to speed up. Okay, this reset. It's all about a global reset, man. All right. So this devil, he has to speed these things up, man. Okay. So you're going to see American economy be under attack from all sides. Okay. It's going to just continue to get worse, man. And these devils, they can't afford to let up anymore. All this pivoting and pump faking these niggas been doing. Nah, man, they got to go. Okay. They got to go with they move, man. So the way things are looking, man, I don't see these devils letting up, on this momentum that they have, man. Okay. Because they know he had but a short time. Okay. So you go to this is the brother Amar, all right, Chabal, all right, Isaiah 19:15, and it says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Yeah. Okay. So all these jobs are getting ready to collapse, man. Okay. That's why they've been, throwing around, the UBI. Okay. To make it seem as if, they're going to give you a dividend check because of the AI is going to be so productive. Okay. So they're getting ready to shut down America, man. They're going to shut down the world, but it's going to be the hardest here in America because America has been built up the most. Okay. So it's going to be extremely bad here in America, man. All right. They're closing the doors. They at least are liquidating America, man. Okay. They want this new system, man. Okay. So let's go. Oh yeah. Let's go here. The brother got this. This the brother GMS DC Taza Doctor. All right. Yara 144K. Isaiah 32:7 said the instruments also of the churl are evil. Okay. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak it right, man. Okay, so this devil has nothing but mischief on the agenda. Okay, this devil has nothing but, all right, evil plan. Okay, to bring about chaos. Okay, going into his new order. Okay, Esau wants a new order, man. That's what he wants more than anything. That's the desire of the devil's heart, is a new world order, man. And he's in the Most High pressuring this man, all right, to make that move because he's going to fail. Okay, he's going to be removed from power. Okay, and put in captivity, man. Okay, and the Lord is ready to put Esau ass in captivity, man. That's why he has this devil pressing the gas, man. Okay, and ultimately it's the prophecy that's pressing the gas, man. Okay. Esau pretty much at this point hanging out the window, okay, tearing it all down. You see, trying to set this thing up, man, while prophecy is just moving, full throttle, man. Okay. So let's go from there. I got this article, which, here we go. Okay, we said, we've been going over these things, man. Brothers in the spirit been saying these things. All right, and it's starting to manifest, man. Okay, what brothers have been telling you, man? I just looked at this morning. All right, so this from Newsbreak. It says Iran linked hackers. All right, from the dough. Iran, okay, linked hackers strike Michigan tech giant Stryker, wiping employee devices in first major U.S. cyber hit. All right, of the war. So now they're already blaming Iran for a cyber attack. Okay, for this Michigan tech giant Stryker. All right, and if they can, so now this opens up the door for them devils to do any type of sabotage to the system, man. Okay, so hey, this year, hey, we could be on some leave the world behind shit. I might need to, I might need to watch this, just to be in the spirit, man. But hey, this year we could be on this, man. The way things are going, the way things are escalating, man. Hey, this can happen soon. Okay, because now that he's throwing, okay, these cyber warfare, okay, now he's throwing this out there in the mix, man. They can do anything, man. The banks can get hacked. Okay, a lot of things. Hey, the grid is power outages, man. All right, extended power outages, man. Okay, it says in a significant escalation of cyber warfare, an Iran-linked hijacking group has claimed responsibility for a disruptive, attack on Michigan-based medical technology giant Stryker. The breach, which utilized corporate management tools to remotely wipe employee devices, marks the first major successful Iranian cyber operation against the U.S. firm since the recent outbreak of regional conflict, man. These devils are going to use this war to tear this place down, man. Okay? To do a lot of domestic sabotage in America, man. Okay? Hey, these devils, they got to go with it. Okay? Prophecy got to be fulfilled. They got to go with it, man. It said the group known as Handler announced the exploit, via Telegram. Yeah. So cyber attack, then Iran announced it on Telegram. Man, get out of here. Okay. And it says in X, formerly Twitter, cybersecurity experts and sophists have tied Handler to Iran's Ministry of Intelligence, noting a shift from previous hacktivism, which largely focused on website defacement, to more destructive wiper tactics designed to paralyze corporate infrastructure, man. Okay, and they're gonna do something with these banks, man. Okay. It says evidence suggests, the attackers gained unauthorized access to Stryker's Microsoft Intune account, a cloud-based, and this is going to push what digital ID. We need digital ID now. to protect the internet. You see, to protect this, the devil, he's gonna spend a lot off of right this ongoing war. Okay, so evidence suggests that attackers gain unauthorized access to Strikers Microsoft Intune account, a cloud-based endpoint management solution used to oversee corporate mobile devices and laptops. Once inside the console, the hackers reportedly trigger a remote wipe command. All right, a security feature typically reserved for lost or stolen hardware, effectively resetting employee phones and computers to factory setting, man. Okay, so they're starting off with something small and insignificant. Okay, with this one company, man. You best believe these devils are gonna do something that's gonna affect, all right, the entirety, okay, of the American population. Whether they start, with big regions at a time, states at a time, man. But these devils, okay, this is their perfect opportunity to sabotage, man, and really bring this place down. All right, because at least want Americans on their knees, okay, before it's time to implement their CHIP, man. Okay, so right on cue, we knew how these devils was going to spin it, man, and don't be surprised. All right, with this, they still have the sleeper cell. They still got that play, which we know the sleeper cells are going to look like Jake. They already had the ISIS Jake, okay, the property of Allah Jake, so they already. So we know where these devils is going, man. Okay, so expect for these things to uptick. All right, so let's go from there. All right, so let's segue to what's happening with the escalation of this war. Okay, let's go now. Let's go across the water. Okay, and go into what's going on with this war, man. Because now they're going up another rung on the escalation ladder, man. It's like they're going up a rung every day. Okay, they're running up the escalation ladder, man, with this war. Okay, this is quick. All this is within a month's time. Okay, and this is where they at with it. Okay, so let's go here. Let me see. I think this is here. So let's play this. All right, and Trump, and he done made some promises. All right, which we'll see. Because he put this 48-hour. He put a 48-hour. What you call it? Ultimatum. Pretty much for Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, or they was gonna start attacking Iran's power grid. Okay, so he did that on what today? He think that was Saturday night when he put that out. So tonight at 7:30, 7:45 is supposed to be the deadline. So tonight at 7:45, we're gonna see what Taco gonna do. Okay, and when you hear them call Trump Taco, all right, that goes into that's an acronym for Trump always chickening out. So these different analysts, they call Trump Taco. Okay, Trump always chickening out. So we're gonna see what Taco do tonight. 7:45 supposed to be the deadline. For them to begin to attack. All right, Iran's power grid. Okay, but Iran said, okay, we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, they're dealing with these Gulf Arab nations and these small hats. Okay, but this devil, Esau, he can do that, and then say, well, since we attack their power grids, well, they cyber attacked ours. They don't have they're not going to hit American power grid with missiles, but they're going to say, well, they cyber attacked our power grid. Okay, so we'll see, man. All right, but let's play this. Just going into different scenarios, understanding how this devil moves. But let's play a little bit of this.
If you've seen the reports that now Donald Trump is alleviating sanctions on Iranian oil. Iran hit right back and said, we don't have any oil to sell you. Now Donald Trump is threatening an ultimatum on Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz in the next 2 days. As of this recording, it's less than 2 days now. So 2 days from the time he posted this on Truth Social. That's Demona, but here's what he posted on Truth Social. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours at this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So that's what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump said he's going to hit the biggest power plants in Iran and turn the lights out, essentially. Well, has Iran wavered? Have they budged? No. Actually, what Iran did, according to sources, they have said, say goodbye to electricity all across the Gulf. So I don't know if you can zoom in on this, but this just goes over all of the various points that the IRGC said targets they would hit if their energy facility.
Yeah, man. So Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all right. All these little cute tourist areas, lights out. Okay, so we're going to see tonight, man. You know, Trump make that move with Taco. You know, we're going to see Taco make that move. Okay. If they instruct this nigga to make that move, man. You see? Iran says it's going to be lights out all across the Gulf Coast, Qatar. Nigga, lights out. You see? You think these people are complaining? All right, Eve simple ass stuck in Dubai. You think, you know, ain't gonna be no more TikTok video showing, you know, you stuck in Dubai. Nah, man, it's finna be lights out, man. Okay, they'll desalination, yeah, what you call them, water plant, desolation plants, desaltation plants. I'm saying it right. I had it right the other day. But those water plants, you know, they're turning their seawater, their salt water into usable water. Okay. Yeah, lights out, man. All right, which is going to make it extremely hard. All right, for these desert countries, man, with their grid out, with their population, man, it's going to be devastating, man. Okay. And the small hats, they power grid is in reach of Iran's, you know, missiles, man. So we'll see, man. Okay, like I say, he sent that. All right. Let's see about that was, let's say, Saturday night, 7:44. We go into it on the message. Okay, so tonight at 7:44 should be the deadline. Okay, so it can go crazy tonight. You know, I say they're running up the escalation ladder. Man. So let's play this.
Are targeted if their electrical grid is targeted. So this includes, of course, the Ras Laffan in Qatar, which has already been hit, which has already been devastated. This incredibly important gas power facility has been damaged beyond belief. There's talks that it's not going to be able to come back into operation at all in months, and then years before it can get to its capacity before the war. Because just a few days ago, Iran hit Qatar's energy, they hit Saudi plants, they hit Kuwaiti oil. They went absolutely ballistic with their hypersonic missiles on these facilities after Israel hit South Pars, and the United States, of course, hit South Pars. They work together always. So this is what Iran is promising. It's promising to turn out the lights. And it's not only promising to turn out the lights on the Gulf region, but it's also making note. The Speaker of the Parliament said, and I'll read what he said. He said, immediately after power plants and infrastructure in our country are targeted, the critical infrastructure, energy infrastructure, and oil facilities throughout the region will be considered legitimate targets and will be destroyed in an irreversible manner, and the price of oil will remain high for a very long time. Throw down what is in your right hand. It will swallow up what they have made. So this is the Speaker of the Parliament in Iran making a very clear promise to the United States and Israel and the Gulf if they participate in this escalation. So you have now Iran declaring dominance over the skies of Israel. In the videos, which I won't pull up here because I don't want the connection. I don't have the best connection right now. So I want to make sure that, you know, in the videos, everywhere that you can see all over X of Iranian hypersonic missiles devastating Dimona, devastating Iran, there's no air defenses going up. Radars, we're being told it's minutes. And Israelis themselves are absolutely freaking out. They're in shelters every single minute of every single day because Iran's waves now are coming in more frequently now. So you have at least 3, 4, 5 in a single day. So that means 3, 4, 5 radars being going off. Israelis having to rush to the bomb shelters, and right now they're just staying. So this is a disaster for Israel. There's
they're just staying there. You know, Iran got niggas living in bomb shelters, man. Okay, and then Iran showed that they can hit these last few days. Iran done hit supposedly the most protected sites in Israel, man. Iran, okay, wrecking this shit, man. Okay, Iran can do what they want to these small hats. Okay, small hats have no defense, man. The small hats are the weakest, okay, military in this conflict. Okay, between the small hats, America, Iran. All right, you got Russia and China in the background. You know, Turkey gonna be activated. You're gonna have North Korea, and IDF is the weakest. The IDF will be the weakest nation in this third world war. Okay, as far as military capability, they trash. Okay, been trash. They just been bullying. Okay, nobody. All right, these punching bags, man. Okay, so now they're completely open up. Hezbollah giving them their work in the north. Yemen said they on deck. Okay, where they can give them small hands hell in the south. Okay, so they surrounded, man. Okay, and they getting their work, and America can't do nothing. America can't get because America hands full with Iran. Okay, so the stage is being set for prophecy, all right, to be fulfilled, man. And this war gonna keep escalating while other prophecies are being fulfilled. While this is happening domestically in America, you know, the famines, the job loss, the economy collapse, the grids, all right, being sabotaged, all these, you know, the false flags and all this happening, the war still going on, all right, and it's to the point that, you know, everybody looking like shit. They, you know, they was talking about off ramps last week and the week before, and maybe, but now it's like it's hard to see an off ramp, man. You know, just looking at it, you know, because through the spirit, you know, watching these things, you know, I can kind of tell when they trying to work towards an off ramp or they finna get one. But the way it's going now, man, like, you know, I don't see one. You know, I don't see no off ramp. Not saying that, you know, something can happen, but it's just been so much that's been done. Like they do everything, they do something that the point of no return. It's like every day they doing something to now it's the point of no return. Okay, even if America left, okay, guess what? Iran and the small hat still gonna be getting it in. Okay, even if America say, well, we done fighting, we're gonna stop striking, we gonna cool, all right. But Iran ain't gonna let up all these small hats, man. Okay, they own them niggas, man. They not gonna let up off them small hats. Okay, so even if America, all right, try to go out the back door, okay, do an Irish exit, okay, they're still not gonna stop. Okay, these small hats in Iran, okay, which without America, man, the small hats they wouldn't last a week. Okay, and America got to be there because the small hats run America, man. Okay, so I think I got couple more. Okay, let's yeah, the brother got it as well. Yeah. Desalination plants. Yeah, that's what they are. Desalination plants. Okay. Yep. Plants often referred to in the context of industrial water processing. You know, taking this salt out of their water to make it usable. Okay, for civilians. All right. So let's go here because Iran and dropped their nuts over there, man. Not only, you know, they dominate. Okay, but now with the Strait of Hormuz, okay, let me see. I ain't oh yeah, yep. Let's go here real quick. Yeah. So now Iran said, nigga, y'all got to pay to come through here. You know? Hey, you nigga, $2 million a boat. Okay? They just hey, nigga, y'all got to pay to come through the strait. Nigga, war costs. All right. So let's play this.
A global oil lifeline is now at the center of a dangerous escalation. Iran has imposed a staggering $2 million fee on vessels crossing the Strait of Hormuz. This is not just a toll, this is a message to the world. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical shipping routes on the planet. Nearly 1/5 of the world's oil supply flows through this narrow corridor. Now, Iran is tightening its grip on this strategic choke point. According to Iranian lawmaker Alaeddin Bourujudi, this marks a shift in power, a new sovereign regime in the strait where Iran dictates the rules, a move that signals authority and control. The $2 million charge is already in effect on select vessels. Iran says war comes at a cost, and now the world's shipping industry is being made to pay it. The implications are massive. Shipping costs could surge, oil prices could spike, and global supply chains could face serious disruption. But this is not just economics. This is leverage in a rapidly escalating conflict. A signal that the battlefield is expanding. Donald Trump has issued a stark ultimatum. Open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours or face consequences. The target? Iran's power infrastructure. The warning is direct. Major power plants could be destroyed, starting with the biggest first. That threat has sent shockwaves across the region, but Iran is not backing down. Instead, it is raising the stakes. Tehran warns the strait could be completely closed if attacked, a move that would send global oil markets into chaos and disrupt one of the world's most vital trade arteries. Oil prices could surge overnight. Shipping routes could collapse. The global economy could feel the shock within days. Iran's leadership has made its position clear. The strait is open, but not for its adversaries. Access is now conditional. And the warnings do not stop there. Iran says Israeli energy infrastructure is within reach and could be destroyed within a day. This is no longer just rhetoric. This is escalation with real-world consequences. A confrontation edging closer to a tipping point. On the ground, tanker traffic is already slowing. Uncertainty and threats are forcing vessels to hesitate. The world's busiest oil route is under pressure. For markets, the uncertainty is alarming. For governments, the risks are rising. For the region, the danger is becoming real. The Strait of Hormuz has always been a flashpoint, but now it is a battlefield of power, of pressure, and of control. Iran's $2 million toll is not just policy, it is strategy, a calculated move in a high-stakes geopolitical game. And now, the world is watching, because if the strait closes, the consequences will not stay here. They will ripple across the globe.
Yeah, man. So, it's escalation on all sides. Okay. So now Iran, all right, is they're making it to where, okay, nigga, you gotta pay $2 million to come through. They pretty much putting a toll. Okay, then put a toll on the Strait of Hormuz, man. Okay, which that's gonna affect oil markets. Okay, so let's I think I got one more video. I want to play the last few minutes of this video. Okay, it's going down, man. yeah. Elon, I tell you, Persia dropped their nuts over there, man. Okay. Nigga, you gotta pay to come through here, man. Say shit ain't nothing free. It ain't nothing moving, nigga. You see? But they ships, and China ships and Russia ships can move, man. Everything else, nigga y'all, Iran pretty much got y'all gonna denounce America and break away from these niggas. So y'all niggas gonna pay. You're gonna denounce America, all right? You're gonna join death row. Okay, so you gonna pay, man. Okay, so let's I got one more, just a real quick toward the end. Yeah, I love this war shit, because you can't fake being tough in the war, man. See, before the war, everybody can be tough, okay, but in the war, you can't fake being tough, man. The NATO got ran out of Iraq, okay. Them niggas went back to Poland, France, Sweden, wherever them niggas from. Them niggas got ran out of Iraq. Okay? Yeah, them niggas changed careers. They tell what them niggas doing now, man. Okay? So let's let me find this. There's one more. Let me find it. Wait a second. Okay, yeah, let's see it right here. Play the last few minutes of this.
Believed you. I would have believed you. But he didn't. And now there are people so fucking stupid like Piers Morgan, who, as the war is going, as we're deploying troops for an amphibious landing, as we're asking for more money than we gave Ukraine over the span of years, he's still saying Trump doesn't actually want this war. There's no way anyone is that stupid.
Know how he can do that, which doesn't look like a crushing defeat or retreat. What would you advise him to do, which would be a skillful and achievable way of extricating America from this war?
I've thought long and hard about this, and I've talked to a number of very smart people, a number of my friends who are what I would call spinmeisters. They can figure out almost always how to get out of a mess. And I don't think anybody can come up with a good solution for solving this problem. What most people say is that what President Trump should do is declare victory and get out. I mean, he can do that, but it will be seen as a humiliating defeat for the United States. And furthermore, you run into the problem that the Iranians themselves might not agree to end the war. The United States can quit, but the Israelis and the Iranians may continue fighting. And again, as I said, the Iranians have a lot of cards to play here. They can do a lot of damage. So even if we walk away, it's not clear that that solves the problem. And then again, where I started, the United States will look like it suffered a humiliating defeat.
Yeah, they're gonna get defeated. They're gonna get clapped. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It's just as simple as that. I honestly cannot listen to Pierce Morgan anymore. Before you
Yeah, man. So just, like I said, I'm not super expert on everything, but you can kind of tell when they finna do an offering on both sides, really, ready to do an offering. But you looking at it now, man, they so deep in, like it's looking like they done passed all exits, man. Okay, so that's all we know. These devils gotta hurry up and pull off. What they gonna do over here in America? What they gonna do? The global reset. They gotta go and go with their move, man, because it's looking like they done passed all off ramps, man. And these things only intensifying, man. And tonight, because what they do tonight. If it go down tonight, like they talking about, man, can't come back from that. Power grids, yeah, you can't come back. Cause now you fighting for your life. You see, and America can't pull out. Like I say, if America pulled out, man, Iran would beat the stars and stripes off them small hats, man. Okay, that little Israeli flag would be all white. Okay, them niggas have to throw the towel in. Okay, so let's go here, man. Let's go here. Let's get this last precept, man. Yeah, like I said, this the real Super Bowl, man. This my thing, man. Let's go here. This is the brother GMS DC. All right, Taza Doc Die Yara Isaiah 21:2. It says, "A grievous vision is declared unto me, the treacherous dealer treacherously." Okay, and that's been America, man. These small hats, man, but mainly America. Okay, because America make it possible. Their military might made it possible for these small hats to even be relevant, man. Okay, but yeah, what we're seeing is the treacherous dealer, the dealer treacherously, okay, and the spoiler. All right, so these devils, they're used to, being, having all the leverage, having the military dominance in the situation, to where they can get things on their terms and make these nations agree to these ridiculous deals. But that's over now. Okay, it says, "Go up, O Elam," which is Persia, "besiege, O Media," which is Russia. "All the sign thereof have I made to cease." Yeah, you see, these nations are not just complaining to the UN about America and the small hats misconduct. No, they getting active, man. Okay, now they getting active, man. All right, and like I say, this is just Iran. This is just phase one, man. Okay, with Russia getting the mix, man, when that bear get in the game, oh man. Okay, it's over, man. America done, man. Okay, America is finished, man. Pack them Edomites up, man. Pack the IDF up. Pack America up, man. Pack them niggas up, man. It's over. Okay, ain't nothing they can do because it only get worse from here. Okay, as these other nations eventually trickle in, it only gets worse for here. Okay. All right. So yeah, man. Yeah, they done got that wild boar started. They can't get that nigga up off of them, man. Okay, and they're bearing the cut, waiting. You see, and then you got China, all right. Moab, flat face ass, he gonna jump in. And it's over with, man. Okay, it's over with for America. And then once these nations do their assignment on America, man, all right, they're going to be destroyed by Yahweh Shai. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I think the point was made. Let me put some of these videos in the I ain't put Nan video in the so like, let me see. put some of these in the chat. Yeah, brothers want to tap in. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Yeah, man. I say this is just the beginning. All right, they finna get ready to pile on top of America, man. Okay, and NATO just gone. You know, like I say them Iran proxies hit that NATO base in Iraq. You know, and them niggas just vacated. Goddamn, nigga. You want some too, NATO? No, goddamn. Shit. Let's see. I'm trying to load y'all brothers up. And the rest of that, let me see if I can find it with Danny Hawthorne. I say that interview was on. Let me see. There you go. Yeah, so this whole interview pretty good. He gonna tell you about what happened in Iraq. Okay. Matter of fact, let me try to find that little snippet where he says, I think I remember the minute mark on there. What happened to NATO, so y'all can see what NATO on. Hold on. Let's go here. And the brother can put that as Sirach 25 and 7. You know, because it's good to laugh at these. Esau, his fall, man. You know, and the Lord guys to where we can mock these niggas that they fall, man. Okay? So let's play this. I think it's around this mark here.
Because Iran has been sanctioned for many years. And what did that do? It created the need to independently develop an electrical and energy system that is centered on keeping the Iranian nation going and alive. So as one is alone being displaced from this war, now 1,000 alone in the last 24 hours evacuated from Dimona and from Arad because of these strikes. And so Iran has not been bluffing from the very beginning. They have said that they are going to go through with their strategy, Operation True Promise 4. They're going to go up the escalated ladder, that they have a strategic plan, and that they have been building this up for many years, especially after the many instances where the United States used negotiations as a weapon of war to start a war. So this is a very dangerous game that the United States is playing. Iran has given now very hardline demands, which the U.S. cannot possibly accept without accepting defeat. And the fact that Iran is confident in sending these demands while conducting its operations shows exactly where the initiative is. Remember, war is not just about war. It's not about just the big bang weapons. It's not just about what Iran can do versus what the U.S. can do and Israel can do. It's about also, and we're going to get even more involved. And Iran is saying, you've been involved. You've been involved. And now the Wall Street Journal is saying they've been involved. They're saying HIMARS have been fired from Qatar. There's you're targeting energy facilities. That's of Hormuz, as well as extraditing elements of hostile media to Iran, because Iran says you have Iran, the complete and utter bankruptcy of 10,000, 15,000. We don't even know the exact number now. A number of civilian targets have been hit. Infrastructure. We've seen not only South Pars.
I can't find it. But yeah, y'all watch the rest of this. You'll go into it. You know, I thought it was like 23-minute mark. But yeah, y'all watch that. He'll eventually go into it. What's happening with those NATO bases in Iraq. All right. Yeah, the nigga closed camp. All right. This is the book of Sirach 25 and 7. This is the brother GMS. Tazadak Da Yara 144. It says, there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy, man. You know, so the Lord got us living in beautiful times, man. Okay, and this nigga is falling, all right, and everything that he's trying to do to catch his balance, all right, is only going to speed up the fall. Okay, so Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. Give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutation to the hopeful Shalom.